never get past the receiving loop until all of the transmitting sides had been closed. Closing all the transmitting sides causes the receiver to close once it's empty. So once the for loop had emptied the receiver would have exited, which would cause the for loop to exit. And so we know by this point that the threads have already
There.
exited. But for
Can you
good
hear me now?
hygiene,
Yeah,
I'll join
okay.
you anyway, just in case the
Sorry, I
program
forgot
isn't
to
fast.
change the microphone.
Let's give this a try. Clear, cargo run, watch the output. Just what we expected. Thread A1, thread B1, thread A2, thread B2.
Wow.
Let's make a change to the
Threads.
timings and
Not gonna
see
lie,
if
threading
things
in
adjust
Rust
as
is
we
pretty
expect.
fucking cool. I
Let's
like
add
it.
a 500 millisecond pause to the start of
500.
Now I would expect to see thread B1, thread B2, thread A1, thread A2. Let's give it a try. Let's just run that last command again, just as we expected. Now that thread A has that large pause at the start, thread B outputs first. The challenge is to reverse the direction of the channels so that we are communicating from the main thread to the child threads. I'll let you figure that out. Note that this wouldn't be possible with MPSC channels because they can only have a single receiving end of the channel.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Okay.
Let's do a project. Let's make a simple Space Invaders game in the terminal. We'll have Sam.
Okay. I'm down. Space Invaders. Hell yeah. In the terminal.
We'll have movement. We'll kill some aliens. Along the way, we'll use some of the concepts we learned in this course.
Hard to hear. Which part?
Off of a live coding presentation.
Which part's hard to hear?
For the virtual open source convention for O'Reilly on June 18th, 2020.
Strange, what do you think about Rust?
All right, let's.
It's basically just fancy C. I really like threading in Rust. I think threads are really cool. I think that's a really smart way to implement it and all that good shit. But other than that, it's kind of just like fancy C. I do like it. It's pretty cool.
Create the project. I will be typing while I talk, so I hope you like the sound of my mechanical keyboard. So let's get started.
Let me turn this up a little bit. Well, that's not what I'm trying to do. Oh.
Cargo new invaders.
Damn,
we'll
that's loud as
invaders for short. I have prepared some sounds, so I'm just going to copy them all in to invaders, and then we'll go into invaders.
I don't have sounds.
Up in IntelliJ, which I will be using. I also use Visual Studio. Great tools, both of them. At the moment, I find that IntelliJ is a little bit better for presentations, but VS Code is coming up strong. So,
did it show me the link to the GitHub at the beginning? GitHub.com/cleancut/invaders. Okay. Clean cut invaders. Okay. Where's the fucking sounds? There we go. Cool. Let's do this. Download. Let's with okay. Okay, now move start with to space. Alright, cool, there we go. Okay.
we'll kill some aliens. VS Code is coming up strong. So
yeah, is that better? Does it sound more fucking
I wouldn't be surprised if that changed in the future.
Let's
take a look at cargo.toml. We need to add our dependencies. We're going to need cross term, We're going to need an audio library. I wrote Rusty.
Rusty? What is Rusty?
Audio for
Rusty
the
audio? Okay.
We need some timers. I put that in Rusty time.
Rusty time.
Little library. Both of those are under my Rusty Engine baby game engine for educational purposes. Our dependencies will take a bit to compile, so let's go get that going now. So cargo build and cargo build release, just in case we want to compare.
Build. Fuck it, let's just do cargo build.
Compare the two. We'll just get all of our dependencies compiled.
Cool.
While that's compiling, let's go set up our audio. First, in main.rs, let's make it return a result so that we can use question mark ergonomically. So we don't really care about success, but for error, that's going to be, we're going to box up a dynamic error trait object. And
Okay. Box. Hold up.
got to import error. Thank you, IDE. And then on this line,
Result. Box DYN. What he's doing shows he hasn't even taught us yet. Of course he is, right? Why wouldn't he?
we
Use std to error.
can start setting
The anyhow code is better than boxed in for result.
up our audio.
Yeah,
Let's
I don't
make
know
a
shit about
mutable
Rust, so I'm gonna
audio,
stick with this one.
which is going to be our audio struct new. Import that. That's from Rusty.
Okay.
Audio. Then we need to add all of our audio sources to our audio manager here. So the first argument is going to be the name, then the path. All of our files end with wave. So I'll go ahead and add that. We've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see over there on the side.
Why don't we just loop through it?
5, 6.
I don't understand why we're not just looping through it. Okay. Audio. I guess I'll just listen to what he says. I feel like this dude kind of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
So we're just going to add each of these. So first we've got explode. Then we've got lose for when we lose. And we've got move for when the bad guys move. And we've got pew, pew pew, the laser that we'll be firing. And then we've got a startup sound. And a win sound. All right.
Okay. Explode. Lose. Move.
Okay. Now we need to play the sound.
But anyhow, yeah.
We're going to play startup because we're starting up. Okay, if we stopped there, we wouldn't be able to hear this because the audio system plays the audio in a separate thread in parallel. So if we just left it like this, we'd run off the end of main, and that would cause all of the threads to shut down, and so we wouldn't hear anything. So let's have this cleanup section where we say audio wait. That will block until all the audio is done playing, and then we need to return our OK. Now we should be good to go. Let's give this a try. Cargo run.
Let's see what happens.
Bum, ba-da-bum. There we go. That's our.
That's what I thought. Yeah, this fucking shit. Hang on. Okay, let's go back to here.
Starting up.
Okay. Result, blah blah blah. Function, result. Yup. Error. That looks exactly the same.
Okay, if we stopped there, we wouldn't be able to hear this because the audio system plays the audio in a separate thread in parallel. So if we just left it like this, we'd run off the end of main, and that would cause all of the threads to shut down, and so we wouldn't hear anything. So let's have this cleanup section where we say audio wait. That will block until all the audio is done playing, and then we need to return our OK. Now we should be good to go. Let's give this a try. Cargo run.
Let's see. That has anything to do with that. That shouldn't have anything to do with it, right? No, that shouldn't at all. So like, what the fuck?
Bum, ba-da-bum. There we go. That's our startup sound. Yes, all of the sounds are.
Mismatch types, function. Yeah, okay,
Me
whatever. Let's
talking
just
into a
fucking
microphone.
keep going.
If someone would like to contribute some sounds, that would be fantastic. I'm releasing this open source on GitHub under the MIT and Apache 2.0 licenses, your choice. So if you want to come and contribute to this project after the videos here, I'm just let it keep going.
Thanks, buddy.
Invaders Part 2, Rendering and Multi-Threading. Now that
Hang on. Yeah, I see that.
bum, ba-da-bum.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, homie.
We've got our audio working. Let's initialize the terminal. The first thing we need to do is get access to standard out. Next, let's enable raw mode so we can get keyboard
CPIO. Okay.
input as it occurs. We're going to use our question mark operator here, which will essentially crash if we have an error. Terminal is from
Cross term terminal. Cross term. Enable raw mode. Okay.
Crossterm. Then let's enter our alternate screen. We're going to use an extension that Crossterm provides on standard out called execute to immediately execute something. we're going to enter the alternate screen. If you've ever used Vim,
Internet alternate stream. Enter alter all. There we go. Okay. Spelling is not my strong
or
suit.
Emacs in the terminal, you'll notice that when you launch it, you get the Vim or Emacs screen, but when you exit, you're right back to where you were. That's because the editors are using the alternate screen. There's two
Oh yeah,
screens
hey, by the
available.
way, this is gonna be a black screen because it's fucking DMAC. So I'm not gonna DRM. I mean, I'm not gonna try to fix that because I don't want to get sued. So just so you guys are aware.
Terminal. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to enter our alternate screen, play our game, and then we'll exit back to where we
But I
were.
did put the
Finally, we need to hide the
fucking
cursor. We don't want to see it
other things on.
bouncing around as we render our
Execute.
screen.
Hide.
All right.
Okay, so execute. Hide. Hide. Cool.
So now that we've set everything up, we need to also do the reverse at the end, otherwise we'll remain in this mode when the program ends. So let's go down to the cleanup section and do everything in reverse. First, let's show our cursor. Then let's leave the alternate screen. And finally, let's disable raw mode. And I need to remember to put my question mark over here.
Okay. So show. Leave alternate there. Leave and then disable raw mode.
As well, or we'll get a warning. All right, now let's go try this out. Bum, ba-da-bum. Okay, there we go. The screen went blank as we entered the alternate screen. Nothing's there yet. We got our sound.
Right, let's go back. See what the fuck I did wrong. Terminal. Okay. Okay, let's see. I see the out. Okay. Let's cross term executable command. No. Yup.
And finally, let's disable raw mode. And I need to remember to put my question mark over here as well, or we'll get a warning. All right, now let's go try this out.
Alter. Screen hide. Question. Yup. Wait. Show. stdout.execute. Method not found. Okay. Let's try that. Not found in the scope.
Bum, ba-da-bum. Okay, there we go. The screen went blank.
Jesus. The fucking, oh, hang on. Okay, hang on.
As we entered the alternate screen, nothing's there yet. We got our sound, and then when our sound finished playing, we backed everything out. Our cursor was also hidden while we were on the alternate screen, so it looks like everything's working. Next, let's set up our main game loop. So between...
Okay, let's try this again. So, oops. We need to do, let's go ahead and turn off captions real quick for a second. All right.
our setup and our cleanup,
whatever.
let's add our game loop.
Okay.
We're going to name the game loop. That's so we can exit it from anywhere in the loop by name. And let's do some input handling. So this is a little bit verbose, but we're going to pull for input events. So the polling function here takes a duration. So we're going to use the default duration, which is 0. We're not going to wait. We're going to return immediately if there's nothing to act upon. At this point, we know we have some type of event, but we only care about key events. So let's look at those specifically. All right, now
Jesus,
we know.
dude, relax. What the fuck?
We've got a key event. So let's match on that key event, or more specifically, the key event's key code. All right, now
code. Holy fuck.
we're looking at specific key codes. So what do we care about? Well, let's make it so we can exit if we press escape or Q.
I would highly suggest nobody takes this fucking course. It's really old.
If we get either of those, then, okay, we've lost the game because we exited early. So let's play audio, play, lose, and break out of the game loop. Great. Now, if any other key is pressed, we're just going to ignore it. And that is our first version of our game loop, just looking for a key to make us quit. Otherwise, we will loop infinitely. Let's go give it a try.
Okay, let's give it a try. Look, it's not gonna run. Yeah, this course is pretty trash. So, how far am I in this course? Method not found in STD out. Okay. Executable command, key code, use cross term event key code. Yeah. Anyhow, create better than box for this. I think it's because you have enter all, not screen. Is that it? Could be. Let's see. No. Use cross term X. Maybe the executable command thing will work now that you said that. Could be. Maybe I just spelt it wrong? That's possible. I am pretty fucking stupid, so. No, I just spelled it wrong. Okay. Let's try that. Jesus. It's most likely because this dude didn't show us any of the fucking imports. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. That is the most likely scenario. Okay. Event. I'll make it pretty later. Event. Hide. Enter.
Bum ba da bum.
Okay.
You lose.
There. Yeah. Okay. So it was because what you said, and because all the fucking imports that still had to be done that he didn't show us.
And
That makes
that
sense.
is our first version of our game loop, just looking for a key to make us quit. Otherwise, we will loop infinitely. Let's go give it a try. Bum ba da bum. All right, we're in our alternate screen, and we're hanging out here because the game loop is waiting for us to press a key. If I press J, nothing happens. If I press Q, you lose. There we go. Now let's go make some frame logic. I think we're ready to start making a nice library and start organizing our code a little bit better. So let's come out here to the files, and I'm going to make a lib.rs, which will be the root of our library. All right, so here's lib.rs. Let's make a pub mod frame. We're going to have some frame logic for every frame that we want to render. Let's also make a couple constants. Let's make const num rows for the number of rows that we're going to have on our playing field. Set that to 20. And pub const num calls for the number of columns that we're going to have. Both of these are usizes. And we'll set this one to 40. And now we can go over and create our frame.rs. So back over to our files, make a new Rust file called frame.rs. This is going to be our frame module, and I'm going to go ahead and use a type alias because our frame is going to be a vector of vectors of borrowed static string slices, which
I'm
is
sorry?
not only a mouthful to say, but it is a mouthful to type. So we'll make this type alias, just call it frame. Vector of vectors of borrowed static string slices. You can see why we might want an alias for that. All right, let's make
Wow, that's ugly as fuck. But okay.
a public module function, so pub fun, and we'll call it new frame. This will just generate a new frame for us. And here's where we benefit from our type alias. We can just return frame. This is going to be a vector of vectors, so we need to make our outer vector first. So let mutable, we'll call it columns because we're going to do column major, so we index in by column first, x, and then row, y. That's going to be a vector. We're going to do a little bit of optimization here. I'm going to start it out with the capacity since I know what it is, and we're going to be generating one of these every frame. Performance might be important. And then let's loop through every number. I don't need the actual number, but the number of times we've got columns. And then for each one of
Oh god, this is fucking stupid.
these, we need to generate a column, and then at the end we will return the column of columns. So in here, we'll go ahead and say our individual column vector, we'll just name that call, is also a vector. We also know the capacity. This time it's going to be num rows. And now we just need to loop through and add a single row character for each row. So for the number of times in 0 to num rows, call, push, we're going to do a
Okay, 0. Push.
blank space. So this is going to be our blank frame. We will create a new frame with our logic every time around the game loop. And then we need to remember to take calls and push on the call. And there we go. That should be the entire thing for adding our new frames. Now everything that we want to see is going to need to be able to draw itself into the frame. So let's go ahead and add a trait. So I'm going to call this trait drawable. So trait drawable. And to be drawable, that means you need to implement this method, which I'll call draw, where you take an immutable reference to yourself and a mutable reference to a frame, and then you draw yourself into the frame. So that's the definition of our trait. So that's all we need for our frame logic. Let's go ahead back to our lib.rs.
Okay, hold the fuck on. Go back. Okay, so function draw self and self. Okay. Frame and not frame. Yeah, I got that. Find, calls, push.
Definition of our trait. So that's all we need for our frame logic. Let's go ahead back to our lib.rs and let's add another module for rendering our frame, our conceptual frame, out to the actual terminal. So we'll separate sort of our model from our view in a sense. So let's go pub mod render for a render module. Go back over to our files, add a new Rust file, call it render.rs. Let's make a pub fun render. What do we need to render to? Well, we need a standard out. So let's take standard out as a mutable reference. And then we'll also do a little bit of optimization in our rendering. We will only render what changed. In order to do that, we need a last frame, which will be a reference to a frame, and a current frame, which will also be a reference to a frame. Now that's great for most of our frames, but at least once we're going to need to draw everything. So let's also add a force.
Jesus fucking Christ. This dude pisses me off. Can't we just give it keyword args?
To force rendering the entire frame. All right, so let's handle the forcing first. So if we're forcing rendering everything, then there's a few things we want to do. We want to clear the screen, and I'm going to go ahead and clear it to blue so that when we
just create frame. Okay. Create frame.
draw our playing field in black, it will be offset and we can see the border of the playing field. So we're going to take advantage of Crossterm's queuing extension to queue up a bunch of commands to the terminal and then flush them all at once. So standard out queue, we're going to
see out queue, okay.
set the background color to the color blue, and then we will crash if there's an error. We should only see a crash if our program isn't connected to a terminal, so I'm not concerned about hitting this. Next, we need to actually do the clear operation. So clear, and what is our clear type? Our clear type is all. We're going to clear all of the screen. Again, we'll crash if there's an error. And then lastly, we will set our background color to black.
Jesus fucking Christ, chill dude. Okay. Rust doesn't accept keyword. It doesn't? We can't give Rust keyword args at all? There's no way to give keyword args? Damn, that's shitty. I don't like that. Hang on one second. My wife's texting me.
And change that.
And then let's see. So why can't we give it keyword args? I feel like that would be really, really useful and cool.
Black. So that the
Alright, now use cross term queuable command, use cross cross term, Q, command, Q cross term, style, set background color, use cross term, terminal, clear type. Okay.
Playing field that we draw will have a black background. Next, we need to iterate through our entire frame.
It doesn't. Okay. I think keyword args would be cool. I should do that.
And draw
It'll probably be a
whatever's
future
changed.
update though.
So, for every x index of column vectors in our current frame, which we'll iterate through immutably and enumerate to get that x index. And then we'll do the exact same thing for y and the actual string character that we're looking at in our column. Iterate through that.
Yeah, structure the options might be a good workaround. Structure the options. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know enough about it to do it. I'll have to look at it later. For S in. I'm not even learning anything. I'm just copying code at this point.
Enumerate that to get the y.
I mean, like, that's 90% of my job, but, you know.
Great, so now we've got the x and y index, and we've got the actual character at our current frame's location. So let's compare that. So now S is going to be a reference of a borrowed string slice. So it's double referenced, so I'm going to dereference at one level, so I can compare that with the last frame's character in X and Y. So if the character changed, or if we're forcing rendering, either way, then we will queue up a command to move to the
force. Then we'll
correct location. So here's our move to, and then our X needs to be a U16 for this call, and our Y as well.
Oh my fucking god.
And then, once again, we'll crash if there's an error.
Cool. Okay. Move to. Is there a reason you're not using it? That's the point. Okay, so when I first started programming, I used to write in Vim. So that's when I first started. So every time I learn a language, I type it out so that I can learn the types and how to actually do it. Like, don't get me wrong, for like things like Malcore and shit, I use PyCharm completely, 100%. 100% use PyCharm. I'll fucking run it through the AI and all that good shit. But I think it helps you to understand the language more to learn on hard mode than to learn on easy mode. You know what I mean? I think it's just a preference that I have, basically. Oops. I think it's a me stuck in my ways kind of thing. You're right, though. I'm completely playing on hard mode. I could 100% speed this up and make it way easier. That's U16. But I think it'll make me not understand the language more. And I'm kind of stupid, so I like to know what I'm doing, I guess. That's a little insane. I can write code on paper, don't get me wrong, especially in Python, I can take out Notepad and write a program, no problem. But I think that learning how to write the program, learning how to actually write this shit without the without the completions and without all that good shit is better for you as a developer. I'm not going to do the indenting, obviously. I think that's fucking stupid, but I think as a developer, it'll teach you more about the program when you actually have to write it out. I don't know. Don't listen to me.
And then we will print without a line, without flushing, a single character at this location, which is
Right.
dereferenced S again. We've done a whole lot of queuing, so we need to remember at the very end to come and take standard out and flush that all.
Okay, so at the end, STD out flush. Okay. And
Really
unwrap it.
big.
Okay, so we need one more thing. Cursor. Move to.
Update to the screen. So here's our rendering. This should take our frame logic and then iterate through things.
Okay, what am I missing? I think I missed something. Let me go through this real quick. See, okay, that's fine. Cool, yeah, force. Color blue, color type black. Actual curve. Iter. Force. All right, everything looks
render
fine.
out our game to
Looks fine.
the
We'll find
channel
out.
itself. So now we've got our logic, we've got our rendering. We need to go start hooking these things up. So let's go back to main, and we will first add a render loop in a thread. So we're going to do some example of multi-threading here. So
Okay.
after we set up our terminal, we go ahead and say, let's make a render loop in a separate thread. I measured this. It actually does provide a little bit of speed up. We probably don't need this speed up, but you know, you may actually have a need for this in the real world. So let's demonstrate it. Let's set up a channel to communicate with our thread. So let's let a render transceiver and a render receiver side of the channels be, I'm going to use MPSC channels just because they're built into the standard library and they're super simple to use in a demo like this. Now for a real project, I encourage you to go use crossbeam channels instead. They're higher performance and they have more features. But I'm just going to stick to the dead simple MPSC channel for this example. Let's make a thread now. So I'm going to catch the thread handle in this variable. So our render handle, that's going to be standard thread spawn. And that takes a closure, and we're going to use a move closure so that we capture our end of the channel that we're using. And then the logic right here is going to be the logic of our thread. It's not going to be a lot, so I'm just going to do it right in line rather than making a new function or something. So first thing we need is we need a variable to hold our last frame, because we're going to hold on to that. And we'll just initialize that to a new empty frame. That's a great starting point. Next, we're in a separate thread. We need to render to standard out, so we need our own access to standard out. So I'll make another mute standard out, be another IO standard out. And then we're ready to actually render the entire screen once. Do that blanking full forced render. So that's our render modules, render function. Import here. We give it our mutable reference to standard out, our immutable reference to last frame. We don't have a current frame, so I'm going to give it last frame again. And that's okay because we're going to force rendering everything. Okay, so now we've set up the screen once. Now we can do our incremental updates. So here's our loop. We need to get our current frame. So that's going to be render receiver, receive. This is where our move closure comes in because render receiver is up there on line 29 and we're moving it into this thread. Now that returns a result. It either returns a current frame, or if the channel's been closed, it returns an error. So let's match on that result. And if it is okay, if it's actually a frame, then we're just going to return the frame. And if it's an error, then we'll just break out of our render loop, which will shut down our child thread. Okay, so this is going to return a current frame, but we're not doing anything with that.
Right.
So let's go and make a variable here. So let current frame be the result of that match expression, which means we need to add a semicolon here because we're using this in a statement. So now we're ready to actually render our frame. So render, give it our mutable standard out, give it our reference to our last frame, our reference to our current frame that we now have, and false, we are not forcing.
See out. Last frame. And curve frame. False. Okay. I fucked something up.
Only one thing
I
left.
know I fucked
Need to
something
do
up.
some housekeeping. So last frame is now current frame. That sets us up for the next time around the loop. We've got last frame all set up.
I know I fucked something
So
up.
now we've got a thread that is ready to receive frames and render them. It's all hooked up, but it's not receiving anything. So let's go start supplying it with new frames. If we come down to our game loop here, first thing we need to do is at the top, we need a per frame initialization section. So this is our per frame init. We'll let our current frame be a new frame. Now we want to handle input next so that we can make any changes to our logic before we render. So let's come down to after our input, and now we can make a draw and render section. So first thing we want to do is send that frame. So render transceiver side, send our current frame. We don't need it for anything else, so we're actually moving it to a different thread. Now that returns a result, but we expect this will fail the first few times because this game loop is going to get going before that child thread is set up and starting receiving. So there's not going to be a receiving end of the channel available for a little while. So instead of crashing on error here, which would...
Here, let's go over here real quick and fucking grab all this shit from him and use it in here. There we go. Okay. And now let's go over here.
Instantly crash. We're going to ignore the error entirely. So
perfect.
Let
Perfect.
whatever result just be silently ignored. Okay, and I also know through testing that this game loop is much faster than our render loop. So I don't want to get continuously behind on rendering by rendering hundreds of thousands or millions of frames per second. So I'm going to add an artificial sleep. So just thread sleep.
Oh, also, so because back to the why am I using this over IDE? Because it makes better content when I get mad and I can't keep up. So there you go.
Duration, and I really don't need to sleep much. I'm just going to add this single millisecond of sleep, and that will be enough. That limits us to no more than generating 1,000 frames per second.
Well, why are you? Hold on. Why do you need to sleep for a millisecond? I feel like that's useless as fuck.
To keep up with, since we're only updating what changed. Now that we've got this set up with sending, we still need one final bit of cleanup. We need to come down here and actually join that thread. Now, we could probably ignore that and, not make sure that our thread cleans up and just kill it when we exit. But it's much better hygiene to clean it up. So I'm going to explicitly drop our render TX. Now, newer versions of Rust don't require that. I tested that. Non-lexical lifetimes, I think, made it possible for Rust to detect that it was no longer used in a smaller...
One of that locks. Yeah, it locks it to something. That's probably why he's doing it, to lock it, huh? Yeah. But I feel like the 1 millisecond sleep is a little bit useless.
Scope and drop it earlier, but older versions of Rust won't know that. And so we'll just do this here. We'll be a little bit more compatible and explicit. And then once the transmitting side of the channel has been closed by dropping it, the receiving channel will error and it will exit out of that loop that we made. So we know it's safe to now call render handle join, and it won't wait forever because we know that that render loop is going to shut down. So now we've done this nice clean.
What is my render handler?
Up of our thread. We shut down our sending channel that will trigger an exit of the thread, and then we wait until the thread actually joins. And that's it. Let's go give that a try. This is our largest section between trying things out.
I'm gonna have to remove a bunch of shit here in a minute. see what I gotta remove. Pub mode render. Pub mode mod render. Okay. Use std render. Yep. Okay. Okay. Not a type. That's what I thought. This is in frame. That and run clear type. This is in render. Where is it? Okay. Is this still in render? Yeah. Clear. Alright. Create frame. No frame in frame. Create. Really no frame in frame. Frame. Oh, that's why. Where the fuck is it? There we go. Yeah. Let's create frame. Frame. No frame in frame. But frame is right there. So let's go back to frame.
Go ahead and use a type alias because our frame is going to be a vector of vectors of borrowed static string slices, which is not only a mouthful to say, but it is a mouthful to type. So we'll make this type alias, just call it frame, vector of vectors of borrowed static string slices. You can see why we might want an
This is right. Oh, static string.
alias for that.
Okay.
All right, let's make a public module function. So pub fun, and we'll call it new frame. This will just generate a new frame for us. And here's where we benefit from our type alias.
Oh, that's right.
Return frame. This is going to be a vector of vectors. So we need to make our outer vector first. So let mutable. We'll call it columns because we're going to do column major. So we index in by column first, x, and then row, y. That's going to be a vector.
Where's frame? Okay, numbers, num calls. Okay.
We're going to do a little bit of optimization here. I'm going to start it out with the capacity.
What's
Since
good,
I know
Brazil?
what
How
it
you
is,
doing,
and
bro?
we're going to be generating one of these every frame. Performance might be important. And then let's loop through every number. I don't need the actual number, but the number of times. So we've got columns. And then for each one of these, we need to generate a column. And then at the end, we will return a column of columns. So in here, we'll go ahead and say our individual column vector, we'll just name that call, is also a vector. We also know the capacity. This time it's going to be num rows. And now we just need to loop through and add a single row character for each row. So for the number of times in 0 to num rows, call, push, we're going to do a blank space. So this is going to be our blank
space.
frame. We will
Okay.
create a new frame with our logic every time around the game loop. And then we need to remember to take calls and push on the call. And there we go. That should be the entire thing for.
Okay. Not a type. Ah. Okay. 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 I'm getting it. Okay. Problem is I don't know how to spell. I knew it was my problem. Alright, and let's go back to render. I'm glad, man. Yep, the live is fun. It's definitely a pain in the fucking ass, though. I'll tell you that much. Frame, calls. That one. Okay. Unused imports, instant, and receiver. Okay, instant. What the fuck is that? PSC 10. Okay. Use STDs. Okay. Invaders. This one's not available yet, so we'll comment out that entire thing. Use. Just add that. Unused import time instant. Okay, let's comment out that. Use SD time duration. I really like the compiler too. Compiler just bullies the shit out of you. I love it. Space Invaders new frame. That. Okay. Let's.
Bum, ba-da-bum. You lose.
Okay, we're good. There we go.
Our new frames. Now everything that we.
Okay.
This is our largest section between trying things out. So in the future we'll be able to try things more frequently. Cargo run. Bum, ba-da-bum. And there we go. We can see we cleared the entire screen to blue, and then we came through and we rendered our playing field, which is black.
All right.
And now we
All
can
right.
move on.
All right.
So in the
all
next
right.
section, we'll look at making our player logic and rendering him to the screen.
Wowee. All right. That's where this comes
Invaders Part 3.
in. The player.
Yes, we are finally to the place where we're going to implement the player. The first thing that we're going to do is add the player module. So pub mod player.
In lib. Okay. Okay.
Next, let's go over and add our player.rs file. New Rust file, player.rs. Now let's create a struct for our player. So pub struct player. What do we care about most? Well, we care about X, so it's positioned horizontally. That is a U size. Y, also a U size. And that's really about it at this point. So let's implement some things. What logic do we need to implement for player? Well, we need some way to make a player. So pub fun.
Let me read that really. I mean, well, okay, so Rust is cool. I really like threads in Rust. The one thing I really like about Rust so far is the threads. Threading is it's really simplistic compared to like other languages. So I really like the threads. And I hate the syntax. I fucking hate it. I think it's like this shit. Oh, hang on. I gotta X out of that. Sorry, everybody. Like this fucking shit right here. No, where is it? Like this shit. What the fuck is this? This is disgusting. Why is this a thing? I hate that. But I do like it's pretty cool. I like it.
Gonna make our canonical constructor here. We'll return our self, which is a player. The X will set to num calls divided by 2. That'll put us roughly in the middle. And then our y we'll set to num rows minus 1. So the y starts at 0 at the top of the screen, and then as y increases, we go down the screen. So num rows minus 1 is going to be our last playable row. Don't do the
Okay. I don't want to type that back out, so.
off by 1 thing. Next,
Okay.
let's make some way to move left. So pub fun move left. Mutable self, because we need to change our self. Let's do some bounds checking. So if self.x is greater than 0, then self.x minus equals 1. That's left. Let's move right now. So pub fun move right. Just the same thing, only in the opposite direction. Bounds checking again. If self.x is smaller than num calls minus 1. Here's our off by 1 thing again.
And not self. Self dot y x calls minus 1. I think it's going to be
self.x plus equals 1. Okay, great.
Yeah.
We can move left and we can move right. What else do we need to do? Well, I think that's about it for the logic, but we do need some way to draw our player in.
Cargo locked man. Why? What do you like about it? What do you really like about Rust? I like the threads. Threads are fucking cool. I'll give you that much. But what else do you like about it? You like wearing the programming socks? Is that it?
Into the frame, so
I bet you that's it.
So let's go down and implement drawable for the player. And then we'll implement that draw method. So here we've got access to a mutable frame, so let's use it. Frame,
draw.
Index in.
And self. Frame. And not frame. Okay. They're so dumb. I bet they are.
And by y. And set it to the character that represents our player. So we'll set that as an A. Now this is not a capital A. This is a ship. This is a spaceship. If you're looking top down, the spaceship's pointing northwards. It's got that crossbar. So obviously that front part is, you know, where the pilot is. So yeah, obviously a spaceship. So now we've got drawable implemented for player. So now we've got all the logic we need to display a player and move him left and right. So let's go hook it up. So let's go to main.rs. We'll go down to our game loop here. Right before.
Okay, main.rs game. Okay.
For our game loop, we'll get a mutable player. That is player new. And then let's go to the input section and handle moving left and right. So keys here. Let's do key code left. So this is the left arrow. That moves the player left. And if the key code is, bet you can guess where I'm going with this, right.
Part left, key code left, player dot move left, key code. That's right, it's this. Key code right, player dot move right. Yeah, motherfucker, I get it. Okay.
Player move right. Great.
God damn,
left
beer
and right
riches.
hooked up to input. We make the player, we update him based on.
But for real, man, what do you like about
input.
it so much?
Now let's actually
I'm curious. I want to know what you like.
into the frame.
Why you
so
like it? I
let's
mean,
come down to our draw and render section, and right before we render the frame, we'll draw him into the frame. So player, draw, give him that mutable current frame. Okay, need to import the drawable trait so that works. What are we missing? Current frame. Cannot borrow the immutable local variable current frame as mutable. So let's go back up here and make that current frame mutable. Otherwise, we'll never be able to draw anything into it. Now I think we've got everything all hooked up. Let's go give it a try.
All right. See how much I fucked up. Okay. Now, calls and player. Okay. Num rows. What do you mean it's not used? Use create frame. Okay. Player use create frame drawable. Yup. Okay. Unused import, but I'm using the import. Okay, you know what? Let's select this. There we go. Got rid of the unused import. You're welcome. Okay, struct little body without path. Struct literal body without path. Pub new self. Okay. Self. Oh, there we go. Okay. Self. There we go. Okay. Use create gnome rows. Right. And lib. What is this one from? Lib. So why the fuck is it telling me to use it? Okay. Num calls minus equals 1. Player. Main. Space. There we go. And more frame. And main 82. Okay. Use space main frame drawable. In main frame. Self new frame drawable frame. Self star.
Bum ba da bum.
Nice. Okay.
You lose.
Okay, got it. Sounds good.
8 in the middle, or left.
Okay, let me catch up real quick. Results as a type make you better programmer, in my opinion. It's super easy not to think too badly about them. Let's see, cargo as much. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, cargo is really friendly. I like cargo. You know what I wish cargo had is like a cargo search function where you could search the documentation and get the information from it. I think that would be fucking useful. That shit. Anyways, stop my nose from breaking. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Main thing that could. Yeah, I've noticed. So this was made in 2021, right? Last updated 2021, and just everything's
Hey, doesn't go off the
different.
side. Try right.
It's not a bad
Doesn't
like.
go
Don't get me wrong. It's not like a
Bum,
bad.
bum.
It's not a bad. What am I trying to say? It's
You
not a bad
lose.
course. I'm liking the course. It's not bad, but It's much different. I do like the car. I do like
That's
cargo
right,
though.
great. We have
Cargo
the
and threads are my
beginnings of an
favorite so
actual
far.
game. We have a player we can move around here. You lose. Now that we've got a player, in the next section we'll see about shooting.
Sweet. Let's shoot some motherfuckers.
Invaders Part 4. Shooting. Now that we've got our player working, let's make it so that he can shoot a laser bolt upwards. So let's go to lib.rs and add
Okay, buddy.
pub mod shot.
Okay.
Let's come over here and make a new Rust file, shot.rs. Great, so we've got a shot module. Let's make a struct called shot. What do we care about data-wise? Well, it needs an X and a Y. Let's also keep track of whether the shot is currently exploding. And we'll need an internal timer to keep track of our movement. Let's implement our shot logic. As always, we need some way.
Timer. And now use. Okay.
To construct a shot. So let's make a new, and we'll need an X and a Y, and we'll return our self. So our self, of course, our X will be X and our Y will be Y. We can use shortcuts on those. Exploding will be false because we just started, and timer
X, Y,
will
exploding
be our
false timer. Okay. X, Y, exploding. False. Timer.
Timer from Rusty Time, and we'll make that a 50 millisecond timer. So our laser will move up
from milliseconds. 50. Okay. So I'm curious, what would happen if I completely increase this? Oh, let me get rid of that real quick.
Bum-ba-da-bum.
Oh, it'd be slow as shit.
Lose.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Anyways, let's go back to shot.
One cell every 50 milliseconds. Pretty fast little laser. Next, we'll need some way to update that timer. So let's make a pub fun update. It will need mutable access to itself. And let's pass it in a delta duration from standard time. All right, what we need to do here is take our self timer and update it with the delta.
Delta duration.
That will make the timer actually start counting down by delta amount. And then let's check. So if the timer is ready and we're not exploding, so self-exploding, now we can actually move. So the timer's ready to move and we're not exploding because we don't want to keep moving after we explode. So let's do a little bit of bounds checking here. If self.y is bigger than 0, so if we haven't yet reached the top of the screen, then we can move upwards. We don't want to move off the top because then we'll go out of bounds. All right, great. So now we've actually moved, if that's the case. And either way, we need to reset the timer. So self timer reset. So now we have the logic to actually move our laser shot upwards. Now let's make some way to actually explode. Pub fun explode. Need mutable access to our self again, so we can change that exploding variable. So self exploding field is true. And then let's take that timer, and 50 milliseconds isn't really long enough to see an explosion very well. So I'm gonna quintuple that. Let's take our self timer and set it to a new timer. On this time, it's going to be 250 milliseconds long. Great, that'll give us just enough time to sort of see the explosion before it disappears. Next, let's do a function to tell when we are dead. So someone else is going to need to clean us up. In fact, it's going to be our player is going to be managing our shots. It needs to know, is this shot dead? Does it need to be cleaned up? So let's make a pub fun dead. In this case, we only need to look at ourselves, so we'll get immutable access. Return true or false. Are we dead? Now this is just a condition, so we can just have a Boolean tail expression here. So self-exploding and self.timerReady means that we've exploded and the timer's run out. So that's one case. Or if self.y is 0, then we reach the top of the screen and we need to be cleaned up. So bounds checking again. Bounds everywhere. Great, so now we've got logic for a shot, but we can't see it yet. So let's come down here and implement drawable for our shot. All right, so here's our
Jesus, hang on. Function draw self frame, not frame. Okay.
draw command. We have a frame that we can index into by self x and self y. This should look a little familiar. This time though, instead of sending it to a single character, we're going to say if we are exploding, then we obviously want to be the explosion character, which is an asterisk, of course. Otherwise, we want to be a laser, which is a pipe in this case. And that's it for our shot logic. So now let's go over to player and add shot handling to the player.
Okay, let's go
First thing
player.
we're going to do is add a shots vector of shot to our player struct here.
We're on shots. Okay.
I'm going to depart from the classic, you can only have one shot here, and I'm going to say we can have multiple shots. So I'm going to use a vector because I think it's more fun. Next we come down to new. We need to add that shots vector, so that is a vec new. And then we need to add the logic to actually shoot. So let's come down and add a pub fun shoot. We're going to need mutable access to ourself. We're going to return a Boolean indicating whether or not we actually successfully shot. Because if the max number of shots are already on the screen, we might not actually successfully shoot. But if we do successfully shoot, we want to play the laser sound, the pew pew. So if our self shots length is smaller than, I'm going to set it to 2. I'm not going crazy here. You can have 2 shots at a time. If you want, you can set that a little higher.
Let's do 3.
Then
Let's
our
do
self
4.
shots needs to get pushed onto it a shot new.
Push.
Where? Well, it's at our own x location because it's directly above us. And since it's directly above us, that means self y minus 1.
Jesus, hold up. Self.x dot x and self.y minus 1. Okay. Oops.
Because the y-axis is inverted. And then true, we shot.
True.
Otherwise, false, we didn't shoot. So there we go. There's our shoot logic.
Okay.
Next, let's make some way to pump those timers on our shots. So we need a pub fun update, mutable access to ourself, and we need that delta duration. And then we just need to go through every shot in our shots. We'll iterate through that mutably so we can change them, and just call shot update with our delta.
Okay. Self.shots error not.
And then, of course, we need to clean up after ourselves. A shot might have reached the top, or it might have finished exploding, so we will take our shots and retain only the shot where it is not dead. A little bit of functional programming there. We're using a closure here. That's what retain takes, and it'll apply that closure to every single item in the vector. And if it returns true, then it keeps it. If it returns false, then it removes it from the vector. So now let's go down to our draw call here and draw our shots as well. So that's fairly straightforward as well. So simply go for shot in self shots. iterate through this immutably because we don't need to change anything, we can just call shot draw the frame. Frame is already a mutable reference to a frame here, so we don't have to change anything. So we've implemented our shot logic. We've hooked it up to the player. So now let's go back to main and make sure that things are flowing through. So go back to main, go to our input handling. There's got to be some way to actually cause that shot to happen. So let's go here and say,
There we go.
if the key code
Key code stuff.
is the character spacebar, or the key code is the enter key.
Key code space key. Space or
Then, all right, so we want to do player shoot, but that returns a Boolean. So if player shoot, then we can play our audio, play our cue sound. Now we have most of the logic hooked up, but what about those timers? We don't have any timers getting pumped here. So let's go add a section here for our updating our timers. We'll call that updates, and we'll just do player update with a delta, and that will flow down to the shots. But what is delta? Do we have a delta? No, we haven't made a delta yet. So let's go up and add this. I like using instant-based deltas. So if we go right here after our player and say let mutable instant be an instant now. Instant is from standard time. Then we can come into our per frame initialization, and before we do anything else, let's just say let our delta for this frame be our instance elapsed time since it began its lifetime. Now, since we did that, we need to then instantly come and update our instant to the next now. Now, the next time around the loop, we will have measured exactly the time that it took to go around the loop.
Fuck me.
So now,
okay, instant elapsed. Instant equals instant now.
I have the delta, so now the player update delta should work. And I think we're all ready to give this a try. So save that. Card.
Okay, let's see how much shit I fucked up. Okay, 1 frame. Use create frame. Okay, so and this is shots. Okay, let's create frame. Okay, and use create frame drawable. Okay. And shot 42 frame self X if in player S cannot find value frame in the scope shots. Okay. Wait, frame. Sorry, hang on. Frame, drawable, frame. Expected value found alias. Cannot find frame in the scope frame self-as exploding. Let's go back.
For a shot. But we can't see it yet, so come down here and implement drawable for our shot. All right. So here's
and
our
self
draw
frame
command.
and
We have
mud
a
frame.
frame that we can index into by self X and self Y. This should look a little familiar. This time though, instead of sending it to a single character, we're going to say if we are exploding, then we obviously want to be the explosion character, which is an asterisk, of course. Otherwise, we want to be a laser, which is a pipe in this case. And that's it for our shot logic. So now let's go over to player and add shot. Now this is just a condition, so we can just have a Boolean.
A local variable with similar name exists. Okay. There we go. Main. Control FV. Oh, wrong one. Instance. Let my instance. Instant.new. 64. Not found in instance. No. Let's go with this one. Trying to build a new instance. Now. Is it now and not new? Okay. Okay. Well, find value play. Source main. And 90. Is it audio? No.
Tail, a little bit of functional programming there. We're using a closure here. We've implemented our shot logic.
Capture.
We've hooked it up to the player. So now let's go back to, all right, for our updating our timers, updates, and we'll just do player update with a delta, and that will flow down to the.
Okay, that's what I thought. I fucked that up.
Bum ba da bum. Pew pew. Pew 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 pew. Pew pew pew. Pew 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 pew.
This is so fucking stupid.
You lose. Shots, but
Cool.
come.
Cool. Cool.
Okay, we can still move and hit space or enter.
Okay, his is showing it. Mine's not showing it. So, why? Let's go to shots. Self XY exploding. Let's just copy his. Fuck it. He can suck my dick. Okay, let's just take this. Okay, what is the difference between what he has and what I have? Nothing. Let's go like this and see if this will fix it. Oops.
Bum. You lose.
So why isn't it showing? You know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't really care. Let's keep going.
Down. Great. In the next section,
Is it because I have too many? I don't know. Hey, what's good, man? We're doing alright. How are you?
The logic for our invaders. Invaders Part 5.
Okay.
In which we create the actual invaders that our project is named after.
Alright.
Let's make our invaders module. So that's pub mod invaders. Come over here, new Rust file invaders.rs. You can probably guess how we're going to start. Pub struct. What are we going to make? Let's make a single invader. Just one invader. He's got an X, which is a U size, a Y, also a U size, and that's it. So that's just going to be our invader. He's got a location, and that's all we really care about him right now.
I'm basically just copying code while he talks about it. He's not even telling me what he does. Hey, what's up, man? How's Puerto Rico treating you? He's honestly not even telling me what's going on, so I'm basically just copying code and listening to him talk. It's kind of fucking boring. I'm not gonna lie. There's something else I want to look at. So let me check something real quick. Windows. Let's do. No. 1 second. I sent it to somebody earlier. There we go. Setup API. That's right. Setup API. Yeah, it's here. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna look at that later. Anyways, yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate it. I saw that League shortcut. League, not me, no way. Speaking of League, maybe we should just like kind of chill for a minute, play some League. What do you guys think? I think we should play some League. I think that's a good idea. Let me log in. Oops. There we go. You'll see. If you can't tell from the name, you'll see. We should play a little. Let's play a little League. We should play a little League. I'm gonna go grab some water. I'll be right back. Let's let that do its thing. People watch though. Don't worry, everybody. I have returned. Yeah, I'm muted for a year, so my bad. Let's play some ranked. I don't want to play mid. Okay. name used to be Bush Daddy Ivory. Okay, let's get Shaco going. I fucking hate Thresh, so we're not gonna play against Thresh. We can play AD Ahri. That'll be fun. Yeah, let's do that. Let's play AD Ahri. AD Ahri is tons of fun. And we're gonna play AD Ahri and piss everybody off. Yeah, I'm gonna play AD Ahri instead, just to fuck with people. This is my Iron account, so it'll be fun. Rust break time. That's what we're gonna call this. We'll call it Rust break time, and then after we're done with this game, we'll move on to something that I want to play with. Oh, this is Iron. Nice. All right, this will be something. Am I against Braum? I'm gonna get my ass kicked. No, I don't want to go live. No. Alright. I haven't played League in a minute. Who's not here? Tom isn't. Okay.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I'm living my best life.
Are you though? Are you really?
30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
A body nourished, a soul fed.
Let's go help this dumbass.
First blood.
Step aside, peasant. You're nothing compared to my queen.
I've seen your most embarrassing moments, you know. Revenge was
Hang on a second.
An ally has been slain.
Alright, there we go.
Live with no regrets.
Where the fuck did my team go? Did they all die? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I won't forget what it means to steal a life. Light on my skin. Nature here is too quiet. So many memories still
Okay.
live.
Kog'Maw's late as fuck, dude. Jesus Christ.
Mortal lives are so fleeting. Remember,
Damn, Kog'Maw's kinda useless at the moment, isn't he?
An enemy has been slain.
like this forest, I am wild.
Hey, what's up? Or, yeah, you're already here. Never mind. Not what's up. Yeah. So, Kog'Maw's just kind of worthless at the moment. No, don't attack her. Her. Attack her.
I lived and lived.
Dude, just get the fuck out of here. What are you still here for?
Slain.
Kill. Oh my fucking god, this dude.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
I can probably kill him. Nope. I'm dead.
Will I also
Dude, you're.
Been slain.
Whatever. It's
I
fine.
have 9 tails, but I have unlimited lives. I carry the legacy of my father.
An ally has been slain.
This place reminds me of home.
We need some fucking music. It's way too quiet up in this bitch.
Still remember his
Hang on.
face.
Let's get some jams going.
Sections, don't forget that there's a highway
There we
where
go.
I skip the exit when I'm lost.
Do you think the alien book Proclamaros?
When
Oh yeah, I bought it like a couple weeks ago.
when I'm
What is he doing?
The world is mine to destroy.
wow,
An enemy has been slain.
and I'm hoping it don't bury me. I used to
Two
make
What is
songs
happening
so
right now?
merrily.
Or
Why are they up there?
She said tiptoe carefully. My mind left, and it's nowhere to be found. Am I a big old parody? Cause it's no fair to me. And now I'm at the point where I'm spending a grand a week on hypnotherapy. Look, I'm trying to wash away my sins. I got a group of loved ones that ain't my friends. And if I ever take a nail, then they might grit. And they all
An
want to see me
enemy
stay in
has
the
been
cage I'm in.
slain.
So when it come to anybody, there's no trust for no one. Man, so what? My whole plan's to go left. My sword is ready for more brothers. I'm gon' judge anybody trying to enter my circle with no love. Hope my sanity's gone. I'd rather be torn from this planet they planted me on. And what's the reward? I'm actually born.
Yeah, I bought that book a couple weeks ago, actually. Anything's relevant, Drew. Look, don't let other people tell you what's irrelevant and what's relevant. If it helps you learn, then fucking do it. Who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Shit like that is irrelevant as fuck. Just do whatever you want. Yeah, do whatever you want, homie. Don't let other people tell you what to do.
Just for you. There's you, woman.
You have slain an enemy.
Quick as a fox.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Other people are going to tell you, like, oh, you should do it this way, this way. It doesn't matter how you do it as long as you do it. What matters is if you're doing it. How you fucking do it, it doesn't matter. No, I would... Nah, it doesn't matter. It's how you... It's the fact that you're doing it that is what matters.
An ally has been slain.
Who I am and who I hope to become. Light on my instrument. For once I want to see for myself. As the seasons change,
Shut down.
Let's see.
An ally has been slain.
How low is he? Is he low at all?
tell me a secret.
Visions and visions of you.
I'm living my best life.
Alright. Who's up here? How low is this mother? It's not low. Who's low right now? Nobody. Okay.
A body nourished, a soul.
An enemy has been slain.
I think I can kill him.
Has been slain.
Well, we could have killed him, but it doesn't matter now.
I won't forget.
Holy shit, dude. What are you doing? Push this shit in. Let's get the fuck out of here. Come on. Jesus.
My true nature.
Ally has been slain.
Fucking damn it. Ugh. All good. No sweat. Fucking stupid motherfuckers, dude. Kids don't know how to play the fucking game and are like, ugh.
Nature here is too quiet.
We don't have any AP. They think I'm AP, so they're building against it, but I'm not. Eventually, Kog'Maw should get pretty strong, though.
Immortal lives.
He's dead. Again. I can probably kill her.
Turret plating will soon
Maybe.
slain.
Nah, she's too quick. Let's get this one.
Like this forest.
An enemy has been slain. Shut down.
Nice, nice, nice. Hell yeah, thank you. Yeah, no problem, dude. For real. I fucking hate it when people are like, oh, you gotta do it this way. No. No, you fucking don't. There's tons of ways to do shit. Everybody has different ways of learning. Everybody does shit differently. So it's fine. Do it however you want to. Fuck everybody else.
The Vasoni has so much to hide. I will find it all.
Once again, Kog'Maw is dead.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
You think you can win? I hear the wind singing. Every animal hungers for sunlight.
Your turret has been destroyed.
I carry the legacy of the Vasoni.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
This place reminds me of home. Light on my feet.
Alright.
Don't worry. I'll be back soon enough.
An ally has been slain.
Let's get this next. We're going full on hit, so.
An ally
Put
has
this
been
next.
slain.
I go
What is he doing?
reserve.
we go. That'll work. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We'll get Charm next. There we go.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your team has destroyed a turret.
I'm on, but I'm not lost.
Killing spree.
Damn. He's not even almost dead either, is he? Oh. Okay.
I see all that you are.
Okay.
Has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain. Shut down.
Nice. I'm just gonna split because there's nothing really to do. so
Your team has destroyed a turret.
okay. Let's back and get this. Let's get this first.
Down.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I'm living my best life.
Your turret has been destroyed. Shut down.
God damn it. They're grouping too much.
A body nourished, a soul fed. Light on my feet. Don't tempt me.
Alright. That was good.
I won't lose myself to you. There you are. Come see new sights with me.
I don't have any vision anywhere. What does she have?
I won't forget what it means to steal a life.
Jesus, what the fuck? What did I even get hit by?
Double kill.
good. Good, good, good. Kill his ass. Kill his ass. Alright. Kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. Fuck yeah. Oh, Jesus. I fucked up his ult.
We'll be back soon enough.
An enemy has been slain. Executed.
Nice. Okay. Damn, he's getting his ass handed to him, isn't he? Damn. That was bullshit.
I will always have the right, but I won't keep
Alright. I'm gonna go mid.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy
That's
has
good.
been slain.
like this forest.
Shut down.
Got him. Fuck. God damn. Okay. Let's get Terminus next. I should have taken something else besides I should have taken Conqueror. Or Light. Or, fucking Electrocute. I should have taken Electrocute. That would have been better.
Not even cloud fruit could erase that memory.
Summer is gone. Summer is gone.
God damn it. Fucking nerds.
An ally has been slain.
Okay.
This place reminds me of home.
An ally has been slain.
Everything is more fun together.
God damn it. What the fuck is this guy doing?
Your turret has been destroyed.
It took me too long to realize how beautiful it could be.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Uh,
The world is mine to discover. This is a fox. I'll have them chasing their tails.
got his R.
Shut down.
Okay.
I've met so many new people. Every one of them unique. Light on my feet.
Alright. That'll work. I actually did damage that time.
An enemy has been slain.
This beauty is timeless.
An ally has been slain.
Your team has destroyed a tower.
Has been slain.
Okay, time for me
An
to go.
ally has been slain.
We got 2 in him. Just get the fuck out of there.
So much I want to see for myself.
I'm playing AD Ari. It's actually a lot of fun. I'm not doing bad, sir, so I'm doing alright.
Killing spree.
So do I.
I have a lot of attack speed too, and it's ridiculous. What the fuck is this guy doing?
Been slain.
Yeah, ADR is tons of fun, dude. I love this fucking game.
Control.
I'm going up here.
I'm living my best life.
Fucking ADR, dude. Get on my goddamn level.
A body nourished, a soul fed. Live with no regrets. Breathtaking.
We gotta get Terminus.
Come to see new sights with me.
Okay, and let's get next. Should we get this to Wits End? I'm gonna get Wits End next.
I'll see everything.
I gotta change this song. There we go. I'll get Wits End next.
An enemy has been slain.
Yeah. Alright.
I won't forget what it means to feel alive. I would never let you suffer. Nature here
God
is
damn it.
so proud.
There we go.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Alright.
Has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. Here I come.
Imagine losing to an ADR. What a bunch of freaking losers. Goddamn nerds. Alright. Okay. Alright, let's do what okay, let's get back to Rust real quick. Good job, Yon. And you, and you. And you. Yeah, good job, everybody. Okay. Exit. Alright, let's get back to Rust. You know what, I don't even want to fucking write in Rust, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and... I want to figure out that thing, so let's do PyCharm real quick. Here, I'll show you what I want to learn. I'll show you what I want to do. Okay? So, new project. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Great. Okay. Let me find it real quick. Okay. So there is a Windows function in setup API.dll, okay? And it's called setup install file exe. If you scroll down, it can take a file handle, it can take all this shit, right? Source file, source path, root, destination name, blah 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 blah. Okay? And if you read here, if the function succeeds, right here, this API is typically used when installing new versions of system files that are likely to be in use. It updates a bool value that indicates where the file is in use. If the file was in use, the file copy operation is postponed until reboot. So what I want to do is I want to see if I can't, see if I can't figure out a way to get that to do what I want it to do. You know what I mean? And I have a thing right here that I found. Hang on. Here. So I have like a, one sec. I have a thing that I found. I gotta find it. Hang on a second. So how it works is setup file, setup install, setup install file exa, and obviously I need C types, and then I need the path to the file. So path is c/windows syswow64 /setup api.dll. Okay, there's the DLL, and now I can need to copy the file. Yes, that's right. Oh, I can give what? No, no fucking shot. I can't find what I was looking for. So I want to import this file. I don't remember how to import with C types. Import deal by path Python C types. Blah 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 blah. My DLL C types .cddll. Okay. Now setup API C types cddl path API dot setup install file argtypes equal. What are the argument types? Let's see. Give me 1 second. It is here. So file handle C types dot C. I think it's an integer. C types dot cnit types. And then source file c char p C types dot C char p. It's fine. So INF handle exit. This is handle. INF context. Let me turn the music back on. Source file. Source file. Source path root. CKP. Destination name. Destination name. Copy style. Keyword. I don't need this part. Keyword context. So, copy style should have and us in it. I think. C init. C init. C types. Should all the rest of these should be integers. Okay, and then. Functions and C types. Python. I want dump in.
Holding on to you, it's time to
Okay.
My pride. Going
So
learning to love myself again.
I wonder if I can just do it with a result.
I don't wanna wait another day. I've waited long enough. I'm ready. I can
File.
see the sun
Test one dot
is
text.
coming. There's happiness on the
Test two dot
horizon.
text.
I'm hopeful I can see the light. I
So it should be
hesitated
none,
all my life, but
none,
I'm all done.
source file.
I'm done running
Should be test one dot text. Destination path should be
scared of who I'd
be
be if I
then let's do C.
said goodbye and I didn't have you here. I wish you well, but I can no longer stand aside and watch you sabotage the two of us. I love you to
Yes.
death, but I
Current working directory.
life in this darkness. I'm done.
Okay. And
I'm done.
destination name. Let's do test 3 dot text. Copy style. What are the copy styles?
I wish you the best,
Um,
but I'm not interested in giving you more of my life. I've
think
already
this
given you
will
too
work.
much. I don't want to lose
Hang
you.
on.
I don't want to keep you. I know that you mean well, but when I
This.
fail, I don't need you. Rubbing my face in it and treating me like I'm less than you. Tell the truth, you know I'd be better without you. Been in your
None.
shoes, don't be a fool.
Okay.
Don't try to convince me that I'm the
I don't know if this will work at all, so we're just gonna.
problem. I love you, but not enough to allow you to continue.
It's not valid when 32 application.
Pulling me back, you're pulling me down, you're making me hate myself. I don't wanna leave, but that's what I need. I ain't got a choice. I can't just let you deceive and make me believe.
Let's
that I
copy
don't
this
deserve
here.
to be loved. I'm not gonna stand aside and watch you attempt to rob and steal and sabotage what little faith I have left. Yet haven't I sacrificed enough for you? Hate seeing you cry, but I think it's time to let go and say our goodbyes. Yeah, I'm gonna miss you, but I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life running from you. Spend my whole life in your shadow, scared
0.
of who I'd
0 is true, right?
be if I
0 is
said goodbye and
0
didn't
equals
have
false.
you here.
Okay.
I wish you well,
So
can no longer
how the fuck? I gotta figure out what these are.
the two of us. I love you to death, but I can't spend the rest of my life in this darkness. I'm done.
Get lost error in Python. Let's get that. Winner. Winner is a function. We'll call Windows format messenger API. This is the devil's language. What's up, man? There's a function they'll call it format to get. Except winner. Print C type stat. Good last error. 87. Error 87. Okay. Error code 87. Python C types. Error code 87 is what? The fuck is error code 87? Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Let me look at something. Yeah, yeah. No, that's not what I'm looking for. God damn it. Error code 87. I don't know what error code 87 stands for, so should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So did it work? What the fuck? Why would you? Oh. How could Rust do this to me? I don't know. We'll work on this later. Let's continue with Rust. We'll continue learning Rust. Here, let's go back to Rust. No. Alright, Rust. Let's continue getting bullied by the Rust compiler. Hang on. I have a lot of messages right now. Give me a minute. Let's see. Okay. Right. As the alien text? I know where the fuck you got that from. Okay, back to Rust.
Important than an individual invader is our pub struct invaders. This is going to be our invader manager or our army of invaders. So let's make a pub army, which is a vec invader, because they all do the same thing, and they're going to have a move timer to move the whole army around. We're going to have a direction. That's going to be
Oh my god, hang
left
on.
or right.
Calm down, calm down.
Although they do move downwards when they hit the side. All right, timers from Rusty Time. Let's go implement our logic. So, what logic do we need to implement for our invaders?
32.
Well, obviously they need a new. So, pub fun new returns a self, and we'll make a mutable army because we're going to push some things onto it. That's a vector, of invaders. And then for every X in all the possible X's on our playfield, and for every Y in every row on our playfield. Let's make sure we import those. Okay, and you know what? This is really annoying that it's got this warning, so let's go add our little return here at the end and then come back and finish the logic. So, self is what it's going to return. What's going to return for the army? Well, that's going to be the army. For the move timer, let's give it a timer from milliseconds. Let's set that at 2 seconds. That's 2,000 milliseconds. And the direction we'll start in is right. So positives to the right. So that's what we're returning. Let's fill out that army so it's not empty. So just do a little bit of math here. I sort of figured this out. Makes a nice grid if we say, okay, well, if we don't want X all the way at the left side, so it has to be in a little bit. So it's got to be greater than 1. And
probably
let's
not.
say that same thing on the other side. X needs to be smaller than num calls minus 2. So it needs to be the
And
same amount in from the other side, but it's 2 instead of 1 because of our awkward 1 thing. Okay, and then similarly, we don't want it all the way at the top. So y needs to be bigger than 0. Remember, as y increases, we go down the screen. Okay, we also want to stop somewhere midway in the screen. So I'm just going to hard code this. You might want to make something more intelligent or based off of num rows, but I'm just going to say y is smaller than 9. Seemed to work okay. And then I'm going to say, okay, it needs to be on an even x. I don't want to on every single cell. That's a little crazy. So we'll say x mod 2 is equal to 0. So it's only on evens. And same thing with y. So y mod 2 is equal to 0. So that should give us a decently sparse grid of invaders. So let's actually push an invader. So army push our invader. Didn't bother making a new thing for him because this is the only place we're accessing him. So what the heck, just do the full verbose syntax. And there we have it. Let's scroll a little bit. There is our complete logic for our new. We're going to do quite a bit of army logic now, so I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit wider. Next, we need to update. So we've got some timer and army movement here, and it's going to get a little long. So bear with me here. It's probably our longest method of the project. So pub function update. It's going to take its mutable access to itself and a delta duration. Got to update those timers. And we're going to return whether or not the entire army moved, because if they did, we're going to play that move sound. So self move timer needs to be updated. Let's update with the delta first. Don't forget that. Now we can do our move logic. Are we going to move at all? If we're not, then let's just return false. If we are, though, let's go if move timer ready. Then we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff, and at the end, we'll return true. We actually moved. Now we can do our logic right here in the middle. First thing we want to do, since the move timer was ready, we need to reset it. So self move timer reset. Great, that's out of the way. Next, we need to determine, is it time to move downwards? So let's make a mute downwards and default that to false. Now let's try to tell if we need to move downwards instead of left or right. So if I'm currently moving left, which is negative, then let's get our minimum x out of all of the army. So here's another good place for some functional programming. So we'll do our self army, which is a vector, iter, get an immutable iterator, and then let's map every invader to his x value. And then let's take the minimum x value, and then that's fallible, because if the vector was empty, for example, there might not be a minimum. So we'll unwrap or give us a 0 if you can't find anything. So now we've got a minimum x, or it'll be 0 if it didn't find anything. So
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Min x is 0, then you're all the way on the left side of the screen, so actually you need to move down instead of left. But next time you'll move right. So let's change direction over to right and set downwards to true, and then later on in this method we'll know that we need to move downwards instead of right. Okay, now otherwise we're trying to move right, but we might have hit the right side. So we're going to do the exact same thing, only for the right side of stuff. So this time we're going to look for a max x. So we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to do max. So
max
self
x.
army iter map our invader to his x value. Again, take the max and then unwrap, or we'll...
Okay, hang on. X dot max unwrap or
say 0, because it really doesn't matter what the value is that we give back. So if max x is non-calls -1, that means we reached our right side, and so our direction needs to flip. So -1 again, and downwards is true. Okay, so at this point, we know that we're moving, and we know whether or not we're moving downwards or to the side. So let's go handle that actual movement. Scroll down here a little bit. Right here, if downwards, then we're moving downwards, else we're moving to the side. So if we're moving downwards, then let's get a new duration, because whenever we move downwards, we're going to increase their speed. So the movement timer is actually going to go to a smaller value. So that's what I'm doing here. setting the movement timer to a smaller value. Let's get the new value. It's going to be the max of our current move timer duration as milliseconds minus 250. That's really our default. That's what I'm looking for. But if it goes below 250, I'm going to bring it back up to 250 because I don't want to get them too fast. I need to import that max from standard compare. Now we can go self move timer is a timer from milliseconds that we just determined from new duration. Only we need to cast that to a U64.
Okay.
Now we can finally loop through every invader. So for invader in self army, iterate through it mutably and say invader y plus equals 1 to move it downwards. The moving was actually the easiest part of all. Else, move left or right. So for invader in self army, also iter mute, invader x is equal to, okay, here we need to go invader x as an I32 so that I can go negative.
Holy fuck. Calm down, sir. Relax. Jesus Christ. Okay, as I32. Oh my god.
Plus self-direction, I should say, well, self-direction's an I32, and so to add them together, they need to be the same type. So
Plus
self-direction, and then
self-direction.
cast that all back to an unsigned usize. So that'll change our invaders X. We return true, play a sound, or false, don't play a sound. So now we have our logic for our invaders. What about the ability to see them? So
Oh,
let's go
the fucking
and do
phone. Okay. If downwards. This should be here. Yes.
simple drawable for invaders. Import drawable. For invader, we need to draw each individual invader. So for invader in self army, iter, go through them immutably, so we don't need to change them.
So
Frame, invader x, invader y equals, we are going to do something special here. You know how in Space Invaders, if you've ever seen that classic game, the aliens sort of wave their tentacles or arms or whatever it is, or blink their eyes? We're going to do something similar. Half of the time, we're going to do one character, and half of the time, we're going to do another character. So while they're in place, it will look like they're doing some kind of arm waving or something. So if we need to take that timer and calculate which half we're in. So we're going to take self move timer, the time left, as F32, divide that by the move timer's duration as seconds of 32. Let's get this on separate lines so we can see this better. Okay, so if we take time left,
self dot move timer dot duration as 6 F32
divide it by the total duration of the timer, and then compare that to 0.5. Then
What?
we
Why?
return one character.
the
So let's do an X for one state. Else, we'll return another character. Add a semicolon there. And if I did that all right, then we're ready to hook this up in main. So let's go do that. Main.rs. First thing we need is some invaders. So let's come to the top of the game loop, above the game loop. Let mute invaders equals invaders new. Next, invaders is not controlled by input, so nothing to do there. It is definitely updated by timers though. It's all driven by timers. So remember, our invaders update returns whether or not we should play a move sound. So if invaders update delta, then audio play move sound. So now we've got the logic, but we still won't see them unless we draw them into our frame. So here, I could do this. I could go invaders, draw, mutable, parent frame. And that would work. But I want to demonstrate using generics with a trait. So I will do something harder, but more generic. Let's make a drawables, which is going to be a vector of anything that implements the drawable trait, and make that be a vector of a reference to the player and a reference to invaders. And then I can say for every drawable thing in the drawables vector, which I'm going to consume, drawable, draw. The only thing I know about drawable is it implements the draw trait. So this is literally the only method we can call on it. And what does it need? It needs a mutable current frame. And then these two lines are no longer needed. So yes, this is a little bit more complicated, just trying to demonstrate. This becomes a lot more powerful if you use it with a function or something like that. And we get the payoff if we added more and more drawable
Okay.
things. All we would have
See
to
how
do
much
is
shit
come
I
to the
fucked
end of
up.
this vector and add them to the vector, and we wouldn't have to change any other logic. All right, let's go run it. Cargo.
Alright, let's run it. Let's see what I fucked up. Okay. Downwards. And invaders. Mismatch closing delimiter. If downwards. What do you mean mismatched? No, that shit's mismatched. Let's go back.
That's really our default. That's what I'm looking for. But if it goes below 250, I'm going to bring it back up to 250 because I don't want to get them too fast. We need to
Move downwards. Okay.
import that max from standard compare. Now we can go self move timer is a timer from milliseconds that we just determined from.
Okay, let's just go here. And we'll go to the source. See what the fuck happened. Obviously we need these. That's fine. Okay. And then let's go through it. Invader. Points. Not worried about points yet. Move timer, direction. Okay. If X and that. And that. And that. And that. And that. Army.put. Yep. Okay. Cool. Direction. Did I miss the timer new duration?
And set downwards to true, and then later on in this method, we'll know that we need to move downwards instead of
That's fine.
right.
Okay. Okay. Now the update function. Duration bool. Okay. If downwards. fine. Where does this go to? Okay, that's fine. X. Time left.
Okay, now otherwise, we're trying to move right, but we might have hit the right side. So we're going to do the exact same thing, only for
Damn,
the
how long
right
have I been
side.
streaming? Okay,
So
2
this
hours
time
30 minutes. Alright, we're gonna fucking call it today. I'm done with Rust. Fuck this shit. I will talk to y'all tomorrow.